We are in the second part of this presentation where we are going to see how to create custom fields within the admin section and how to update it using these Excel templates. So to give you some context, we are going to be seeing how to create one of those employee fields called willing to relocate. Right? Assuming HR would like to maintain the willing to relocate information for each of these employees, and assuming this particular data is maintained in these Excel sheets, and there's no visualization platform to basically to create a report to understand how many employees are willing to relocate and how many of those employees across geographies are not willing to relocate. Assuming this information is very hard to generate because it's maintained in external systems, then this particular data can be migrated into the Nakisa HR Suite and it could be visualized better. So that's the first custom field which I would be creating, and I will also be showcasing how to add the data values for this particular field through the admin panel. So the second field which I'm going to be creating is a position field. It's called the remote worker percentage. Assuming the HR would like to plan the office space and they would like to understand how many of those employees are working remote and how many of these employees are working hybrid and how many of these employees are coming to office daily. If they want to do if they want an analysis to get an understanding of the remote worker percentage, and you can use the extended data model within the Nakisa HR Suite to migrate that particular data into the Nakisa HR Suite using these Excel templates that we have to offer. So I'm also going to be showing how to create the remote work percentage position field and how to add the data using the Excel template. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump into the admin section. I'm going to be using the credentials of George Tiger, assuming he's the HRIS personnel within the company, and I'm going to be showcasing how to add these custom fields through the admin panel. Okay, so assuming I've logged in using George Tiger's credentials, let's create the employee extended field willing to relocate. So from the admin panel, you'll have to click the application settings, and under the application settings, you can see a section called custom field settings. So let me click on custom field settings. So within custom field settings, as you can see here, there's a drop down called custom field management. Let me click on custom field management. Now, the objective is to create an employee field called willing to relocate. So let me click on edit employee field section. So once I click on the edit employee fields button, as you can see, there is a pop-up. So the extended data model of Nakisa supports a number of these different employee fields. For example, you can use this extended data model to create three different number fields for the employee object. You can create around 6 different text fields for the. So you can create around 6 different text fields for the employee object, and then around 4 different long text fields, and then around 3 different Boolean fields, so on and so forth. So the easiest way to create the willing to relocate field is that, as you can see here, I've enabled the first Boolean field here, and I can click on the edit icon, and I can go ahead and rename it, and I can name it as willing to relocate. I've already done it to save some time during this demonstration. So after you do this, you can go ahead and hit save. So what we have done now is to enable the willing to relocate field. Now I'll also quickly enable the remote worker percentage position field. So the easiest way to do that is to click on the edit position field button. And again, that is in pop-up, which is very similar to the employee fields. So what as you can see here, now I would like to add the remote work percentage position field. So using this similar way, I go ahead, enable this field, and I can go ahead and rename the field as remote work percentage, and I can save it. So what I've done is I've created two fields. One is a position field, which is remote work percentage, and the other one is an employee field, which is waiting to relocate. Now, let's quickly see how to enable the filter fields or the filter section for these two fields which are created. So the employee Boolean field willing to relocate automatically appears within the filter section, but we will have to do some configuration for the remote worker percentage number field to appear within the filter section. So the best way to do that is under the custom, let me click on the custom filters drop down, and I would need to click on the edit position filter categories. So as you can see here, the remote work percentage field filter appears here. I'll have to go ahead, click on it, and define the range, define the different ranges for the filter for this particular field to appear within the filter panel. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be allowing, so within the remote work percentage position field, there are a number of values which could be put in, right? Either that particular employee is completely remote, then the remote then it's going to be completely on site. Then the remote percentage is 0. Or that particular employee can be 30% remote, or it could be 50% remote, 70% remote, or it could be 100% remote. So the way I've defined my ranges is that if the value is from 0 to 1, then I'm going to be assigning the filter value 0. Right. Similarly, if the value is 30, then I'm going to be assigning the remote percentage as 31. Right. Using the same way, if that particular employee is 100% remote, then I'm going to be assigning the 100% remote range. So once I do that, I go ahead and hit save.
And just while you do that, Sachin, I wanted to mention one thing.
Yes.
So you will only need the custom filter for number fields. You don't need it for anything else. Automatically, when you create a custom field of type Boolean, means yes, no, or text or description, or any of the other fields or lookup, they automatically show in the filter panel, they automatically show in the details panel, they show everywhere in the application. The only exception is the number field. It shows everywhere except the filter panel, because we need to identify how we display it in the filter panel. Do we display it as a term or as a range? So in this example, we chose a range. There were 5 values, either you're a 0 or 30%, 50%, 70%, or 100. And that's why we displayed it as a range. Just to give you some context, it all depends on the type of data that you bring in, and you only need it for number fields, these filter panel, this filter configurations. So back to you, Sachin.
Okay, perfect. So that's about the configuration. So once this configuration is done, these custom fields are going to appear in the front end. Also, these number field and the employee fields are going to be appearing within the filter panel. Now let's quickly go back to the presentation. And then I'm going to be quickly showcasing how to add the data values for these position extended fields and the employee extended field. Okay. So let me quickly open that up.
And again, while Sachin is opening it, if we could use any of the non-used standard fields, we would have then picked up the standard template based on the enterprise template and chose the right data. But as we are talking about fields that don't exist in the standard, the best place would be using the extended data model, which is these custom fields that we have in the application. There are 25 for organists, 25 for positions, 25 for employees, and that's what Sachin is showing us now.
Perfect. And as we see here, this is the custom fields template, which will have to be utilized to upload the data for the newly created willing to relocate employee field. So as you can see here in this particular tab, in this particular Excel, I have the employee extended tab, or the employee extended spreadsheet, where you can define the different employee IDs and then the beginning and end dates. And you can give the values for these different extended fields that we have enabled. For in this particular use case, we've enabled a field called willing to relocate, which is in Boolean field. So under the Boolean field 1, I go ahead and give true and false values for the employees, depending on if they want to relocate or if they do not want to relocate. So that's a simple way to populate the data values for the willing to relocate Boolean field, right? And similarly, you can look into our help section, or you can contact our account manager, or you can contact our solution engineering team to see how exactly you can populate the other different fields that are available. So the next section is that the position extended field. So I'm going to be quickly showcasing how the remote worker percentage values are filled for each and every for each of those different positions that are identified. So in column A, you can go ahead, include these different position IDs, the beginning and end date, which shows the date range within which these values are relevant. And under the double one column, which basically corresponds to the number field that we created. So you can go ahead and enter if it's 100% remote, or if it's 70% remote, or if that particular employee is completely on site, right? So you can go ahead come and fill these values. So this is how you populate these different templates, or the extended templates. So in the next section, I'm going to be showcasing how to upload these templates into the admin section of the Nakisa HR Suite. So I'm going to pause here again, and if there are any questions, we can go ahead and answer them. Do you think there are any questions that need to be answered now?
No questions on the chat.
Okay.
Yep. So you can continue.
So just to remind everyone, if you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat channel, and you can go ahead, post your questions, and we'll try to answer them during the course of this presentation, or we do have some time at the end of this presentation to go over those different questions. Okay.